So as we all know, SDRs are wildly important to the success of SaaS companies. They fuel growth, drive ARR, and are the future commercial stars in training for the org. They can vary hugely in output. And when I challenge you to think about the difference in the very best to the least talented SDRs you've ever worked with, it only takes a little bit of maths to calculate that the difference in weekly demos booked, timed by the value of an appointment, times by the future value of the company, means that hiring the right SDRs is £1 million problem. On top of this, with the tenure of an SDR only being between 14 to 17 months in the role, there isn't lots of time to develop missing attributes. And many of the challenges to be discussed by my fellow speakers this afternoon can at very least be aided, if not in some cases solved, by hiring the right people in the first place. So with all of this in mind, why does it go so wrong for some companies? And what can be done to ensure success? Here are my top tips to help you hire the right SDRs into your team. Number one, take ownership of the process. Look at your process and ask yourself, who wrote your hiring brief, the job advert, and the info to be shared to attract candidates? Was it you, or was it somebody in a different time zone, in a different department? And therefore, do these messages or documents mean anything to your local stakeholders? And are they actually going to help you find the right candidate? If not, then remodel them to make them relevant. This is your target and your team. So how is it going to work with somebody else's foundations? Number two, be aware of the time, energy, and effort it takes to create a talent pool of potential candidates and understand the competitive landscape that you're operating in. Answers in the chat, please. Guess how many SDR job adverts were posted on LinkedIn over the last month of companies hiring an SDR in London? 2,500. And just to put that into context, there are only 8,500 SDRs listed in London in the first place. So putting it bluntly, the competition for the best people is absolutely huge. I had a look at some of the application rates for the roles posted. Last year at Venatrix, it took us 62 applications to make one placement. We're the go-to place for people to apply for an SDR role, so I imagine our number to be lower than most. Only 1 in 10 of the ads on LinkedIn were getting anywhere near this number, and there were loads with less than 10 applicants. Posting an advert on LinkedIn, other job sites are available, and hoping for the best simply is not a magic bullet it may seem to be. It's like waiting for inbound leads, and you wouldn't want your team doing that. So where else can you look? At Venatrix, we place over 50% of our candidates via referral. We focus on delivering an exceptional candidate experience to maintain a strong 4.7 out of 5-star rating, over 100 reviews on Glassdoor. And this gives us access to a wider pool of candidates, not just people on job sites. So how much time are you currently investing into indirect methods? And have you created a referral culture where it's encouraged to get your friends involved and leverage wider networks? Aside from posting job adverts, how else are you getting your message across to potential candidates? The candidates that you're going to be marketing to are most likely Gen Z. Gen Z consume video information, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. So how much video are you using in your role marketing process? And is it a corporate video produced by HQ, or is it a real, fun, authentic depiction of what it's actually like to work in your team? It's no secret that Venatrix loves a LinkedIn video, so follow our page to get inspired on how to deliver these. In terms of the content of your text or video, make sure it's going to pique the interest of the relevant candidates. Again, we're talking about Gen Z here. So money's cool, but it's not the be all and end all. They want to understand about the business mission, the company's social conscience, the part they play in the overall big picture of the company, and what opportunities there are for them to learn more skills and how autonomous they can be in the role post-training. Whilst we're on the topic of attraction, companies often ask me about diversity. With tech environments being typically male-dominated and an increasing desire that I'm sure we all feel that we must give equal opportunities to people from all backgrounds and be proactively anti-racist, certainly the intent is there. You can't pay for diversity, however. Maybe you can pay for the tools that might help you achieve it, but writing an equality statement and adding this to the bottom of job adverts isn't enough. Asking your HR team or your recruiter to try and find you some diverse candidates isn't enough. It needs to come from within, and that starts with a team, departmental, or company-wide commitment. The true benefits of a diverse team are well documented, so get everybody bought in, not just from a moral perspective, but also on a commercial level about the actual tangible benefits of a diverse workforce. With this motivation in place, next review your materials and your messaging and make sure that the stakeholders and the employee case studies you intend to use in the interview process represent this. You're aiming for neutral, balanced, and diverse. Now to talk about the actual screening. First of all, define the goal amongst the stakeholders about what profile of candidate you're looking to hire, and a score system everyone is clear on. So the process is simply not a candidate meeting different people with no real structure and then an opinion-based follow-up such as, what did you think of them? From speaking to hundreds of companies, here are some of the most popular criteria that hiring managers look for. Curiosity, strong work ethic, being target-driven, humility, coachability, and the ability to work in the team, plus that idea to actually work in sales and the reason why they want to do that for your business specifically. So ask questions to draw examples that demonstrate these qualities. An interesting point is actual sales experience. At Venatrix, we place HEPL, so high performance, low experience candidates with our clients, despite their initial request for people with 6 to 12 months experience. And as a general rule, we find that new to market candidates outshine those with commercial experience in our process. And with the aforementioned 14 to 17 months tenure of an SDR and an SDR role, where is your experienced candidate you're assessing on that journey? And if they haven't managed to make the next step, then why? If that speaks to you, then make sure your questions are going to test for attributes, potential, and instinct as opposed to knowledge. In terms of a screening process, be prepared for a high volume of activity. Last year at Venatrix, it took us 30 man-hours per placement. And again, this is our sole purpose. So we're likely to be lowering the average as we gain efficiency through specialism. If you've invested in the top of funnel activity and have the required pipeline of people, the first stage can be a CV sift. The second, a phone screen, which needs to be done by somebody well-versed in the SDR role and with the capability to really sell the business. As discussed earlier, the competition is immense. So unless this call packs a punch, tests as well as excites the candidate, then there's no point in making it. With the shortlist decided, we recommend an online screen with the task. At Venatrix, we run an online case study with for all shortlisted applicants, which has them play the part of an SDR, qualifying a client and handling objections. This gives you a sense of where the candidates are at from a natural skills perspective and also an attitude perspective as they potentially struggle with the exercise. You can also give them feedback and have them attempt it again to test their coachability. Finally, a culture fit interview with a more relaxed tone involving a specific number of different people who've been fully briefed on the profile sought. This will give the candidate the opportunity to ask any further questions, get candidate buy-in, and a final sense check from the team. So that's my time up. I could talk about this all day, considering I do talk about it all day. So any questions, hit me up.